जय प्रभुपाद 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 हे प्रभुपाद जय शिल प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय शिल प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद श्री गुरु चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा श्री गुरु चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति सद्मा बंदो मोह सावधान माते बंदो मोह सावधान माते जहर प्रसादे बाय हे बाबा तोरी आज जहर प्रसादे बाय हे बाबा तोरी आज कृष्णा प्राप्ति हो जा होते कृष्णा प्राप्ति हो जा होते गुरु मुख पद्मावक सीते ते कोरिया गुरु मुख पद्मावक सीते ते कोरिया अरे ना कोरी हो माने आशा अरे ना कोरी हो माने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तमा गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तमा गति जे प्रसाद पूरे सर्वा आशा जे प्रसाद पूरे सर्वा आशा चकुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चकुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से देव ज्ञान रे प्रकाशित देव ज्ञान रे प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जते वेद गाय जह करे तो वेद गाय जह करे तो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु लोकेरा लोकेरा जीवाना लोकेरा लोकेरा जीवाना आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद चया आहा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद चया देव जा कुसुति भुवाना देव जा कुसुति भुवाना चेला प्रभुपाद बदी दवाना जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी बस तारे से तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत घरधर शिव सरी गौर भक्तवृंद
we can see. We can enjoy it.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar, Nitai Gaura Sundar, Gaura Sundar. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnu Padaya Param Saparavajaksharya Stotra Satsrimad His Divine Loving Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vindi Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Sri Sat Goswami Ki Jai Sri Panchatattva Ki Jai Sri Nitai Gaur Sundari Ki Jai Their Lordship Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai Their Lordship Sri Radha Radhanath Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundi Giri Gaur Anch Ki Jai Sri Samaveta Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada transcendental book distribution की जाए, Srila Prabhupada transcendental food distribution की जाए, श्रीमद् भागवत पुराण की जाए, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत गीता as it is की जाए, श्री लक्ष्मी नृसिंहदेव भगवान की जाए, भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जाए, तुलसी देव भक्ति देवी की जाए, गंगा माँ यमुना माई की जाए, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जाए. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to the Lord Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Nar Singhaya. Namaste Nar Singhaya. Praladadayine Praladadayine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Chilatanka Nakhalaye Chilatanka Nakhalaye Ito nishima parato nishima Ito nishima parato nishima Yato yato yamitato nishima Yato yato yamitato nishimo Bahir nishimo hirdaye nishimo Bahir nishimo hirdaye nishimo Narsingham madhim sharanam prapade Narsingham madhim sharanam prapade Tavakar kamalavare nakamadbhuta shringa Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa Ishavadheta narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare केशवधेता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So welcome to our Sunday Love Feast program. Today our special guest is His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj, who needs no introduction. You all know Maharaj very well, but we are very happy to have Maharaj in our midst. And over the next few weeks, he will be visiting us quite regularly, so please take advantage of Maharaj's association while he's in the country. And if he leaves, then maybe a little bit of a challenge actually. So for now, we will start with that. We'll make further announcements about the programs in the coming weeks in a little while. Hare Krishna.
Radha Kunja Bihari Radha Kunja Bihari Kobijana Balaba Girivardhanari Kobijana Balaba Girivardhanari Yashodhanandana Brajajana Yashodhanandana Brajajana Yamunatina Vadachari Yamunatina Vadachari Badaba Kunja Bihari Jagannath Badaba Kunja Bihari Bobijana Badaba Kiribaranari Yashodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Badashari Jagannath Badaba Kunja Bihari Gobijana Badaba Kibaradari Yashodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Badashari Yamuna Tira Badashari Jagannath Badaba Kunja Bihari Jagannath Badaba Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Gaur Premanande, all glories to their assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Devotees, how nice to see you all after a long time. It's terrible, gosh, anyway. But a sight for sore eyes to see all you nice devotees. And we hope all is well. We were asked today to address the subject of how to prepare oneself, or how to prepare just all of us, individually and or collectively, for special festivals. It's a very nice subject because, it's nice if we actually prepare ourselves individually and as a temple and a congregation, rather than just walk in on the day and that's it. We just, whatever's happening is happening. But if we can actually gear ourselves up and really get focused like that, then we'll have much nicer festivals individually and collectively. And we'll be able to do all sorts of interesting, relevant, and very nice things which, otherwise there wouldn't really be time if we just walk in and there's the festival. Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. Shri Natai Gaura Sundar Ki Jai. So, of course, the next important festival coming is Lord Balaram's appearance day. And who knows what is the date of Lord Balaram's appearance day? Louder? 31st of August. Right. I don't know what. I guess it's in the middle of the week or something along those lines. Thursday? Okay. So anyway, but great. And then there's another festival coming not long after, isn't it? Do you know? Anyway, of course you know. Krishna Janmastami. And what date is that? 27. 7. Oh, it's soon after. And then there's another festival, isn't it? Just after that? Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. Well, yes, Krishna consciousness is just, there's a festival every day, actually. In fact, not just a festival, but every day there's a number of important occasions going back, even way back into the history of the universe. I'm sure today there's a number, even 3 or 4 or 5, nice occasions, but you can't really, maybe I shouldn't say that, but we don't really try to celebrate everything, just the main ones. Of course, they're all main ones too. So today we're going to talk a bit about that. And just for starters, I'll read 2 verses, or actually it's really like one sort of It's 2 verses. From the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna, and we'll read verses 7 and 8. Mumuchur munayo deva sumanamse mudanvita mandam mandam jaladara jagajur anusagaram nishite tama udbute jayamane janardane devakyam deva rupinyam Vishnu sarva guhashaya avarasi dyata prachyam dishindur eva pushkala. And the translation: the demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of the ocean's waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Sri Krishna. Just one point I'll just mention before we go more into it is that I'm sure you noticed, and even I emphasized a bit when I read it, that this is Krishna appearing, actually. This is Krishna. But in the middle here, we read, it said that under those particular circumstances, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, appeared. Haribol. Well, yes, Haribol, why not? Vishnu is great. We appreciate Lord Vishnu so much. But actually this is Lord Krishna. So why refer to him as Vishnu? The thing is that Lord Krishna is appearing as apparently as taking the role or the place of the Yuga avatar for Dwapara Yuga. Even though it's right at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, unlike with Lord Chaitanya, who appeared, of course, 530-something years ago, right at the beginning of Kali Yuga and setting the scene, really, for Kali Yuga. But Lord Krishna as the Yuga, taking the role of the Yuga avatar for Dwapara Yuga, he's sort of taking the position, in a certain sense at least, of Lord Vishnu, because it's Vishnu who comes in different forms as the Yuga avatars, usually. So anyway, that's the point there. It's an interesting little point. And so that's very nice. That's Lord Krishna appearing on, what is it, the 27th? Oh, it's the 7th. Okay. On the 7th of September, which is soon. So, right, like we said, we were asked to say something on how to prepare our consciousness for any of these occasions, but in this context, particularly these occasions which are just now coming. And I thought I could mention a few things which you can do individually, collectively, it depends. But if you do these things particularly if you try and do all of these things, because there's a number of them, but at least if some of you can do some and maybe a few of you do all, then I think by the time Lord Balaram's appearance day comes on the 31st of August, and then what to speak of Sri Krishna Janmashtami, I think that you'll all really be in the mood and things will have already started rolling substantially by the time the actual days come. I mean, the great majority, if not all, but at least the great majority of you all are from Hindu backgrounds, and you know that in the local Hindu temples, when it's coming up to Krishna Janmashtami, they usually do, isn't it, a Gita week? Something like that. I mean, I've attended a few actually. and when Ram Navami is coming, they do some sort of Ramayana, some sort of program like that for a while. And that's nice. It's very nice. So, I mean, actually, there's nothing stopping us individually and or collectively doing that. And even I'd recommend it. So let's just have a look at some of these things. These are like suggestions, you could say, of things that could be done. So, you know, when it comes to, particularly now is coming appearance days, not all of the festivals are appearance days like after Radha Ashtami, the next one will be Govardhan Puja. Very important festival, but obviously it's not an appearance day. But in regards to these different events, there are generally two aspects in terms of just the initial idea of state of consciousness. First aspect is, you could say, the philosophy, the understanding. What's it about? What's the significance? What happened? How, what happened? And the importance of what happened. Like Lord Balaram appeared. But before he appeared, he spent some time in the womb of Devaki. Just some time. And then he was transferred to the womb of Rohini, who is, like you could say, his real mother, so to speak. But for some time he was in the womb of Devaki. And for what? Why? Why on earth? Why didn't he just go straight to Rohini, who is, so to speak, his real mother? So there's a philosophical idea. I mean, there's also a pastime there, but philosophical idea, and Prabhupada explains it in our 10th canto, that Lord Balaram, he's very much in the mood of a devotee. He's God. He's the Supreme Lord. Krishna has so many expansions on different levels. Some are full expansions, partial expansions, some. And there's some who are like parts of parts. It's quite a science, actually. So, and Lord Balaram, after very high level form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But still, even so, in fact, Srila Jiva Goswami says that if you ask Krishna, if someone asks Krishna, Krishna, who is God? Then Krishna, with his pointing finger, points at his chest and says, me. That's Krishna. Yeah. Who's God? Me, not me. Krishna. But Jiva Goswami says, if you ask Balaram, who is God, he has the right completely to say me also. But he doesn't. If he's asked who is God, Balaram says, Krishna. Haribol. Why? Because he's in the mood of a devotee. And why is he in the mood of a devotee? Because it is better, it is nicer, and even it is much more fun to be a devotee of God than to be God. Yeah. We are the lucky ones. We get to be the devotees and not attempt to be some sort of form of God. So there are these understandings of Lord Balaram, you know, when the day comes, what is it? It's 11 days next week or so. Then we'll talk about who is Balaram? What does he do? What's his special nature? These are understandings of the person whose day it is. Right. So that's there. But then there's also the second aspect or part is the pastimes of the particular person, or like with Govardhan Puja, the particular pastime, the different aspects of the pastime. And you know, as someone who generally, or I mean always practically, but at least generally, myself, I'm asked to say things to the devotees on those days. There's only so much you can say in an hour or something. You know, like we have 35 minutes left or slightly less. There's only so much you can say about Krishna. Understanding Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. There's only so much you can say. But if we do programs like we mentioned that are done by, you know, at least quite a number of groups, Hindu groups, that for a week or for some days everyone gathers and we really go into these things, it just makes the whole experience so much richer. I mean, like a lot richer than just on the day we say some things, take prasadam, and go home. So there's a suggestion how to prepare our consciousness for festivals. Do something like that for all of the festivals. I remember, what was it, just before COVID, or maybe it was during COVID actually. I was staying in Johannesburg for a while, and for the whole month of Damodar, every day, you know, like 30 days or so, we just talked about the month of Damodar, the Damodar Leela, the meanings, the understandings, and And it was really nice. Yeah. So anyway, I'll leave that with all of you. You know, you can, if nothing else, you can just do it at home yourself or with your family, or gather some devotee friends. But you can also consider having gatherings here. Of course, that's what the temple was built for. Not just for people to look at as they drive by, although that's also nice, but to use in Krishna consciousness. So there you go. Philosophical aspects, pastimes like that, yeah. And relevance to ourselves, all these types of understandings. They're really nice. I mean, they are just so super nice. And you know what? We need to cultivate an appreciation for these things, so that rather than when we're sitting in the class, you know, at least I know it happens sometimes with some people, we're looking at our watch and thinking, okay, how much longer is he going to talk for? And I hope they're going to have butter paneer for prasadam. But we'll just be absorbed. But, you know, a taste. One of the nice things about Krishna consciousness is it's so easy. It's just so easy to develop a taste for prasadam, butter paneer, or anyway, just prasadam generally. But it's not as easy to develop an attachment for hearing and chanting about Krishna. It can definitely be done, and many devotees have that to one degree or another, but we should cultivate these things. So, okay, then, here's another thing that can be done. It's related, but it's also a different thing that can be done as part, if we do some sort of preparatory, excuse me, if we do some sort of preparatory program that can be part of that, or whether we do or not, at least on the day, we can do it on the day, then devotees can learn, or at least find and read, some verses from Shastra about the particular person, like Lord Balaram's next, so about Lord Balaram. There are verses, and some amazing and beautiful verses. So, okay, then here's another thing. And, well, this is referring to the temple. I mean, I think we normally do it, at least for the big festivals. Decorate the temple. Or how about decorate your house for Janmashtami? How about doing it for Lord Balaram's appearance day too? How about doing it for Govardhan Puja too? So everyone will see. I mean, there's so many of you, and most of you living here and there around Phoenix. Hare Krishna will become famous for celebrating festivals and decorating the houses, and not just on Diwali. Anyway, it's a thought. It's a thought. Something you can do with your own house. How about, and now this is exotic. How about at least on the day, or it could be done before also, it could be done every day, doing decorations of Rangoli. I assume you know from the culture what is Rangoli? Colored, powdered decorations, on the floor. Yeah, Rangoli. It's quite a big thing in some places in India, and it's quite a big thing in some of our temples in India at different times. Yeah. So, have you ever done it here? I think so. I think I've seen some Rangoli flowers. Okay. Okay. Anyway, it's something that those of you who are artistically minded, you can consider doing. And you can consider doing it at home also. Right. Then, how about devotees? And this is a really good one. We should really do this. How about learning, or at least getting more into, our bhajans? There's so many. There's actually a very large number of bhajans. There's quite a number by Narottam Das Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Not a vast number, but, it's a fair number. But then there are other of our acharyas, and there are collections of bhajans about Krishna, about Lord Chaitanya, about Lord Nityananda. There are songs about the lifting of Govardhan Hill. I don't know if we have a bhajan band here, or that's like Rupanuga Prabhu, a one-man bhajan band. But it'd be really nice to create some bhajan bands, and how about some Balaram bhajans? There are. Right. And, like Janmashtami, if you come in, normally like for the evening arti, sort of 7-ish, you still got 5 or 6 hours. Why not have some bhajans? Among other things. Then how about this? This is nice. All these things are nice. But we do sometimes, maybe here we do, I know in Radhanath Temple, on some of these big days, we buy gifts for the deities. Yeah. Gifts, and devotees do cards. Like for Jagannath Rath Yatra, what do you call it? The Snan Yatra. I remember, I don't know about here nowadays, but I remember when I was in London many years ago, 2 weeks or so before Rath Yatra, we do the Snan Yatra, the bathing of the Jagannath deities, and then the idea is that they catch cold and they have to recuperate for a couple of weeks. So we would do 2 things. Some of the devotees at least, some would do get well cards, and others would make different, what to call them, potions, like variations on the theme of ginger tea. There's a variation on the theme of ginger tea. It is called Brahmastra juice. And it is, devotees, fasten your seatbelts. It is a combination of ginger juice and chili juice. Are you aware there's such a thing as chili juice? There is. Yeah. With some honey. And, I remember when I was a new devotee, I'm still a new devotee, but when I was really a new devotee, first time I got a cold, because we were going out on Harinam every day for like at least 6 hours in winter. And it's not a winter like today. In London, it's cold. Sometimes it's around 0, sometimes there's snow. So I got a cold. And they made some Brahmastra juice for me. At the time, I didn't know what it was. I'd never had it or heard of it. But they said it will either cure you, like on the spot, or kill you, in which case you go back to Godhead. So it's just glorious either way. So for Lord Jagannath, devotees would make all these different types of herbal teas and ginger teas and so on. Excuse me. Yeah. So, and do these get well cards? There would be a whole lot of get well cards. Some devotees would not just buy a get well card down at CNA or wherever, but they'd make their own get well cards. Yeah, really nice. Yes. That's right. He likes the idea, you see. It's confirmed. So, yeah, we can get gifts for the deities and write cards on their birthdays. What's a birthday? What's like for you, if it's your birthday? If nobody gives you a birthday card, what does that mean? Doesn't really mean anything very good, does it? So this is part of personalism, being personal and not just being impersonal and just coming along and just letting it all happen, but actually taking it very personally. So gifts. Then, sometimes we can give gifts. Maybe this is not such a big thing, but for these special festivals, but you can also give gifts to devotees. From time to time, it's nice to do that. Then here's something important which we can do, and actually we must do, we have to do anyway from time to time, before some of these really important days. We can do a special Maha cleanup of the temple, just the whole place, including the grounds and everything. Yeah, and especially the deity area and the temple room. So that's nice too. And then, of course, on these days, devotees cook extra preparations. I don't know what the record is here at New Jagannath Puri. How many preparations? Anyone remember? Sometimes in Radharanath, the devotees do, I think, several hundred, isn't it? 108 is good, of course, and 109 is one better. So, special effort. But even devotees could, they'd have to be up to a certain spiritual standard. They would definitely. But devotees can cook things at home and bring things. At least for Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja, there's a history of doing that. And, you can just cook things at home anyway for yourselves because it's the special day. And that's, having a feast is just practically the most standard thing to do when it's a special festival occasion. And now here's something really nice, that on these days, the devotees can cook preparations which are favorites of the particular personality whose day it is. Yeah, like Balaram, appearance day 31st, what's that, 11 days away. That's the next one. And what does Balaram like? Varuni. But devotees often speculate on what is Varuni, how to make it. When I came first to South Africa way back many years ago, I remember our first Balaram's appearance day at Cato Ridge. I can't remember who it was, but he said, yeah, I make the Varuni. This is whenever it's Balaram's appearance day. So I said, yeah, okay, good. What do you do? What's it made of? And he said, yeah, it's yogurt, honey, and Sprite. And that's what we got, or that's what Lord Balaram got. But there are recipes, like traditional recipes for making Varuni. I can tell you one right now, and this is just like, what would you say, in terms of proportions. 1 part sugar, 5 parts like liquid honey, 1 part cream, 6 parts yogurt, 7 parts milk, and 1/2 part rose water. This is a traditional recipe, like tried and tested, maybe for hundreds or even more than hundreds of years. So why not give it a try? Make, like a more authentic type of Varuni. I'm sure, well, I don't know if I'm sure, but I assume Balaram doesn't mind Sprite. I mean, yeah, if it's offered with devotion, I'm sure he'd be very happy. But something better, more creative and interesting and traditional would be really nice. So, I mean, if anyone wants, I could email that list there, and it's very simple, just in proportions. You just put it all together and away you go. Then how about, and this is a really important thing, actually, just in general, that on all of these special days, and even just days which are not so special, I mean, like regular Sundays, but at least on the special days, what about devotees putting on dramas? We do that sometimes. I don't think we do it all the time, do we? Not really. So we need, like in Radharanath, they have, I think it's Rukmini, Devi Dasi is sort of the champion, and she just gets the dramas together, if I remember correctly. So they do have, excuse me, they have dramas quite regularly. So, you know, you're intelligent people, and excuse me, nothing serious, just life. Yeah, but there's a number of you who I know are creatively minded and capable like that. What about that? Among other things, it'll just make the festival so much more relishable, and it'll attract people. Because you know, Bhakti Marg Maharaj, Rath Yatra, you know, right? In the big tent. I've been in the big tent so many times. I think every year I give some sort of address, welcoming people and so on, at in the earlier stage of the festival. And how many people are in the tent? Well, I know because I can see from the stage, but it's usually not more than half of the tent, and it's often like a third or something like that. But when Bhakti Marg Maharaj puts on a drama, what happens? It is more than full. People are standing outside. So there's a saying, I think it's Shakespeare, it is Shakespeare. The play is the thing by which we can, attract the attention of the king. So dramas are just, they're a very traditional part of what is Krishna consciousness. They're very attractive, including for the public. And I would say if we started doing dramas, I don't know, every month or every couple of weeks or something, if there was a champion and just a small group, like half a dozen, I'm sure that just people, the public, would become more attracted. I'm sure. Because even, some of our drama groups, they have put on dramas in halls where people pay money to buy tickets. So drama is really very attractive. Right. And then, of course, a favorite, but it's a good one. It's the last one I didn't have so much time to think of so many things. But it's the last one I put together, and it's an old favorite. Get the children to recite shlokas. You know all about that, don't you? We do that sometimes. And people like it. It's interesting. Oftentimes people, devotees, don't applaud for a lecture, but they'll applaud when a child recites a verse. Or some young lady dances some kind of rather strange Bollywood-inspired dance. Anyway, so look, the idea is how to prepare our consciousness for these days, for Balaram's appearance day, and then just a week or so later for Lord Krishna's appearance day. So, prepare the consciousness If we do these activities, they will help us develop consciousness. Yeah, activities are based on consciousness. You do what you think of doing. But consciousness is also based on activities. If you do something, particularly if you get into it, something nice, then it inspires your consciousness. The two things are just intimately connected and related to each other. So what do you think, devotees? Anyway, I'll leave it with you and the organizers, the management, but you know what, don't you? I will be coming, and I will be checking. Yeah, and I'd really like to see at least some of these things done, and it'll make the festival nicer. It'll make all of you nicer. Devotees, you're already nice, but it'll make you even nicer. And it'll make our experience, our appreciation of Krishna consciousness nicer, and we will appreciate how Krishna consciousness is nicer than we thought it was. So there's some thoughts. I could say a few more words. Well, how about, just let me, I should mention, regarding cooking things for the particular persons, like preparing Varuni for Lord Balaram, but there's other things. Do some research, and you'll find there are different sabjis that Balaram likes. What about Krishna? What does Krishna like? Makan. He is the head of the Makan mafia. So he's famous as Makan Chor. Why does he steal it? It's not just that he likes the taste of it, but because it's full of the love of the devotees who make it and the cows from whom the milk comes. But then Krishna likes so many milk products. Yeah, so many milk products. All sorts of milk sweets. All sorts of milk sweets. Yeah. And then Lord Chaitanya, what does he like? He likes different things, but sukta. Sukta is sort of, what would you say, sour-ish or astringent, that sort of stronger taste, with Karela and other related types of things. But he also likes shak, different types of Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki, Shishinatai Gora Sundar Ki. Okay, let me just conclude then. He likes different types of vegetable preparations. I remember when some old ladies, devotees, would come to Cato Ridge from Phoenix, Merebank, etc. They would, half the day they'd go out to pick different forms of spinachy types of things which were growing around. I don't know if the ladies still do that. Red herbs, this herb, mustard herbs, and all these different herbs. Lord Chaitanya likes these. He really does. And Radharani, what does she like? Do some research and find out, okay? Yeah, do some research and find out. Prabhupada, what did Prabhupada like? Kachoris. his nickname, one of his nicknames was Kachori Mukhi, one whose mouth, mukh, one whose mouth is always full of kachori. Yeah, and other things too. So there you go, devotees. Some ideas, some thoughts, how you can just sort of spice things up in general in the temple and, get out of the sort of mildly robotic mood of just coming for the Sunday program, just sitting there sort of looking into outer space or looking at the deities maybe some of the time, and then going for prasadam. There's so much richness in the culture of Krishna consciousness. Let's explore it and get into it. Hare Krishna. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki. Okay, so thank you. So let us stand up, devotees, and have kirtan for the arati.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Before you pack all these chairs, just a few minutes of your time before we have kirtan. So Maharaj was speaking about some many wonderful things, and some of my ideas he seemed to have told you all, so that's a good thing. But we need lots of help to make sure these festivals work. We have the marquees that will be going up earlier on, and then Maharaj will be here for Balaram's appearance there on the 31st. Maharaj will also be here on Janmashtami. Just those 2 days, yeah. So just those 2 days the Maharaj is coming here for the program, so please try and participate if you can. Maharaj is also going to Belito today to do one Janmashtami program starting at 3 p.m. at Townsend Hall. So if you are available to attend that program, please do so as well. There's many sponsorships required. We have a Yagya program happening on the 3rd, and Balaram's Day sponsorships, Janmashtami sponsorships, and Srila Prabhupada sponsorships. We also have Gita Week announcements. We're going to have a class that you have to register for the Gita Week. If you can do that, it will be very helpful for us as well. So thank you. Please watch the news and the WhatsApp message that is sent so that you can see more and more of what we are speaking about. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravadi Pracharine Diveshesha Shunyavadi Ashasharishatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivadari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Jai Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Balade Jaya Subhadra Jaya Nitai Gaurari Nitai Gaurari Gaurari Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Vrinda Devi Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Ita Gaura Haribo Haribo
His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Anant Kori Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Navacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Se Gohos Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath, Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki, Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Go Premanandi. All glories to the Assembled devotees. All glories to the Assembled devotees. All glories to the Assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Narsingaya Kalada Dayine Darya Jashe Tori Sringo, Pare Tori Sringo. Yato, yato, yabida Tori Sringo. Ini Sringo, vida ini Sringo. Ini Sringo, vida ini Sringo. Dari Sringo berim sedenam peperim. Negara kabela berina berbuta Sringa dari tahiranya kasihmu tak beringat kisah berina hari lupa jai jagarisya Hare jai jagarisya Hare jai jagarisya Hare. Ishavarina Hari Rupa Jai Jagarisha Hare Jai Jagarisha Hare Jai Jagarisha Hare. Jai Jagarisha Hare Jagaresha Jaya Nasingare 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 Jaya Nasingare Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki, Go Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prasadam being served downstairs, but for those of you that want to chant the praise, we'll do them now. Mahaprasade Govinde. Namo Brahmani Vaishnave Swalpa Punyam Pitam Rajan Vishvasona Vijayite Sarira Vidyaja Joindriya Thayeka Jivafale Visaya Sagure Taramata Jivati Lovamoy Surudmati Takijita Katina Samsare Krishna Bodadoyamoy Gauri Bada Jiva Jai Swaprasad Nadil Ho Bhai Senamrita Pao Radha Krishna Gunagao Prema Dekho Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nimai Jai Nitai Bhagavat Mahaprasadam Ki Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Shri Nitai Gaur Sundar Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande